Hey everybody, how's it going? This is the day of multiple T's. It's Tactard Ted on Tuesday the 20th. Yes, the 20th day of September. How's everyone doing? I really wish I could have like intro music because there's an old song from the 80s that's called I Think I'm Turning Japanese. I think it was the Tubes. I'm not really sure who did it. And then why would I be saying I think I'm turning Japanese? Because there isn't a song out there that says I think I'm turning Russian. I got accused today, or not accused. Somebody said they felt that I was going native, and it's somebody who I actually respect, and I had a rebuttal about it. And I'm not going to impugn that person. That person's a good person. But I need to explain myself for all you folks that think that I have gone native. And it's real simple. I'm catching a lot of flack and a lot of, how should we say, pushback, because I remember things. And if it was good 30, 40 years ago, it should be good now. And so we're getting close. We're 30 some years since I did basic training. In 1984, one of the first classes they gave me was an introduction to law of land warfare. Basically telling you not to do shit that are considered war crimes. And one of the things in there, and I keep going back to it every so often for various war crimes when I see them, war crimes that the Ukrainians have done, the war crimes that both sides do, the exploitation of prisoners. These are violations of the Geneva Convention. They are technically war crimes. Both sides do certain things. One side is very particular about inflicting unnecessary casualties in attacking civilian centers where there's no infrastructure, there's no military items, and we're talking about Donetsk City. Donetsk City has no military infrastructure. There are no power plants inside of Donetsk City. There basically nothing there for the military. And yet the Ukrainians keep shelling it. Now they shell it with the Caesar guns that they got from France. They shell them with HIMARS that we gave them, M270s that other European countries have given them. And somehow we don't see this as a problem. We don't see it as a war crime. And for me, it leads me to the very interesting journey of this country. And I'm going to make another video shortly that talks about the journey of the American people. But I'd like to talk about the journey of war crimes. And let's go back, 60 years ago. Let's go back to the Vietnam War. There was a soldier named Lieutenant William Calley, and Lieutenant William Calley was a platoon commander in Vietnam, Republic of, and his troops were engaged in an action near the Vietnamese city of My Lai, or My Lai, depends on how you, or My Lai, excuse me. I really blew it there on the pronunciation, My Lai. The actions that he did became known infamously in the press as the My Lai Massacre. Now, I will tell you, honestly, I don't think that William Calley committed a war crime. What I think happened is you brought troops into an area that they had been receiving hostile fire for days and days and days. They got in there and he lost control of his guys. And plus your clear and sweep mission, which is a euphemism for seek and destroy. They needed somebody to put under the bus, and William Calley drew that card. Now, had there not been a press exposing what happened in My Lai, chances are William Calley would have never went down in the history books. William Calley would not have been court-martialed. And just for one of those little interesting tidbits, I actually met William Calley. William Calley's family had a jewelry store in Columbus, Georgia, right outside of Fort Benning, home of the infantry. And a few of the guys, we went down and paid him a visit. And, were very nice with him. Now, he was prosecuted. He was thrown in jail. We denounced everything about William Calley because, well, the press exposed it. The people were outraged. And somebody had to pay. And we can't be seen as being supportive of what is, quote unquote, a war crime in the press. And I don't know that we'll ever get full explanation. I certainly won't get it from William Calley. He is deceased now. But because of what William Calley did, we had to have him pay a price. And it's interesting. We learned that the press can cause you to do things that you probably don't want to do and that you probably don't think you need to do. So fast forward to today, and we in the United States are aiding, funding, and equipping a military that literally has Nazis serving in it. We're funding, equipping, and some of our ammunition and shells are being used to inflict unrealistic casualties against the civilian populace with no military targets in the city of Donetsk. What is the difference? Well, there's two differences here, folks. Number one is the Western media is under moratorium not to report it. They're not going to report it. You think I'm bluffing? Look at the CBS story that got shelved about American aid not making it to the battlefield and ending up in the hands of oligarchs and the mafia who were selling it. That's not a made-up story. And CBS had the audacity to have it put on the air, and all of a sudden, they didn't. They pulled it back. And that's after the State Department and the government whacked them on the PP and said, no, you don't do that. Now, not only will our press not report on it, we have squelched press from the other side. Because we don't want anything that might challenge your view of the world. We don't want you to have to weigh the two sides and come up with your opinion. You're not allowed your opinion. Your opinion will be what they tell you your opinion is. And that's really where this is. The second reason that it's different is that we want it to be different. We're going to make it different. It doesn't matter that civilians are being killed. It doesn't matter. You're not allowed to know about it. We're not going to put it on the TV. You will know what you are supposed to know. We have an agenda. This doesn't happen to fit into our agenda to let you know that your aid is killing civilians, including children, in a market in downtown Donetsk. Not a military target. Not a military target. Very simple. Targeting civilians is a war crime. It is a violation of the laws of land warfare. And I remember this, that you're not supposed to do these things. And somehow when I report this or make my feelings known that it is a war crime. Somehow I've went native. Somehow I'm a Russian bot and a Putin apologist, what have you. No, I'm just not a hypocrite. And we have managed to go from the My Lai massacre, where we hung a young lieutenant out to dry, to simply ignoring that we are funding and supporting Nazis who are xenophobes, who are persecuting an ethnic minority or minorities in their country. And we're just supposed to say, oh, it's okay. Where's the press? Where's our press doing their job? This isn't the press of Walter Cronkite. This very simply is a shill press. They are, how would you call, ultra political. The press has an agenda. Let me tell you what, if this was Donald Trump's military aid getting civilians bloated up, we would hear about it. It'd be wall to wall 24/7. But since it's pedo Joe Biden, pedo Hitler, and this is the Obama-McCain-Nuland war that they've been working on since 2014, everything has to be held quiet. Everything has to be hushed. And we got a little, not that everybody gets away with it. I mean, during the Bush administration, we started showing, or things got leaked, showing things that our military did that were immediately put on display as a war crime. Some of them were, some of them weren't. Some of them were errors of judgment. An error of judgment, thinking that you see an RPG launcher when it turns out to be the tripod of a camera. Those are errors in judgment. Targeting the press because you know it's a tripod of a camera is a war crime. There's a big difference. And I'm not making excuses for that war. I'm not going to, because we have the right to look after our own national interest. And unfortunately, our national interest seems to lie on the other side of the planet, not next door. Russia's national interest seems to be either with their allies or next door, in a country that we help to destabilize, a country where we are arming neo-Nazis, a country where we are still supporting them, although they like to shell markets. Now, right is right, is wrong is wrong. And if it means that I'm standing by my convictions, if I'm standing by the training I received in 1984 in basic training about what is a war crime, what is a violation of law of land warfare, and I happen to apply that to something we are doing and not just what the other side does, if that's going native, I'm guessing going native now means not being hypocritical. If it was wrong to shell civilian populace centers in 1984, I would venture to say it's still wrong today in 2022. Now, I do understand the world's changed, but I don't think it's changed quite to that extent or quite that extreme. And it's just something to think about, folks. But we seem to have managed to get from where we will hang out one of our own to dry, but yet we won't call out the people we're supporting. This plausible deniability, this, oh, well, we really don't know what they're doing. I'll be quite honest, folks, if the reports are true, and I don't know for certain, because number one, our press is not doing their job. Well, they're doing their job. They're running cover for Joe Biden and the administration and the State Department. We got no idea who's with those HIMARS launchers. A lot of people in the intelligence community say they are under direct supervision of Westerners. If the HIMARS are directly underneath the Westerners, then there are Westerners committing war crimes. Because when you put HIMARS rockets into the center of a city, and these are precision weapons, you don't shoot it at a factory 10 kilometers away and randomly drop 4 shells or 4 HIMARS rockets into a city market. It just isn't how that works, folks. Our weapons are supposed to be the best. We talk about how precise they are, the capabilities it gives the Ukrainians, and then this happens. And of course, the Ukrainians, you know, we got to give them more weapons. They're now lobbying for the longer range weapons. They want the 300 kilometer weapons, but they promise they're not going to use them against Russian territory. Well, why the hell do you need a 300 kilometer rocket unless you're planning on hitting Russian territory? And you can't believe anything they say about not hitting civilian targets. They hit civilian targets in Donetsk. We're not going to do this. These are the same people. We're going to do the Minsk Accords. And then we never had any intention of doing the Minsk Accords. But, hey, I went native. Yeah, maybe native Virginian. That's a different story for a different time. Talk to you later. Bye.